All right, so let's begin and look at this article. And make sure you share. So we're going to share the first one dealing with Yahoo News. And this one's dealing with the Inflation Act. Yahoo Finance, current economic movements. As you see, good old Joe. Oh, and today's stream, I apologize. This is titled Inflation Reduction Act passed. Will this prevent a recession? Now, you know, one of the few things that we always hear rumor that we are heading for a recession. I think it's another way of seeing, I think the recession is already here, but they're not going to let you know. They're not going to let the American public know. They always keep things on the down low, which I don't like using, but hey, America's known for that. But a lot of things that's not really explained about the dollar bill, how it's so inflated, and a lot of things that you once could buy and buy now. So, will this bill really even playing field for a lot of Americans? And trust me, it seems like we do need it. We might need it, from what I'm understanding. But maybe no, I don't know. All right, let's go, guys. Let's begin. Inflation Reduction Act. 4 ways it will kick in right away. This is written by Ben Warskowski. I think I pronounced his name Warskowski. And this is published August 16th. The signing of Tuesday of the Inflation Reduction Act is set to kick off a parade of actions from the Biden administration and other Democrats to sell the bill to the public, while some analysts show it won't. Meaningful reduce inflation. This is so-called IRAs will devote hundreds of billions of dollars towards fighting climate change, reducing prescription drug costs, and cutting the deficit. Now, we're going to look at the deficit after this article to see where we at in regards how much money in the American public or America generally is in debt. And you know when you cutting really and getting real growth, that's when you're not spending and you're gaining money in return. I think the problem with America is that we spend too much and we're not really getting anything out of the dollar bill besides basic necessities, and we're not really contributing enough, maybe besides weapons or other ill acts that really maybe certain people up top might benefit, but as we talk about American citizens, we don't really benefit much, unfortunately. I could be wrong, but yeah. President Joe Biden and others will fan out around the U.S. in the coming weeks to discuss the bill, according to the White House, with cabinet members traveling to 23 states just this month. The coming Democrat message will likely focus on the aspects of the bill that could improve Americans' lives immediately, including tax credits for electric vehicles and energy-efficient home improvements and key health care provisions. Now, we don't know the details of this bill. I'm not sure we're going to ever know, but nonetheless, we should. Because anytime when these bills are being written and put forward and passed and signed, it's always good to know the details, what's really in this bill, besides what we're reading from the surface, instead of reading the actual bill. And we should be reading these bills, like when they made the serious budget to help people back in 2020, which, if y'all not familiar with the other channel, and it's on podcasting of articles talking about how how this administration did not spend the money what they got for the bailout, and they're asking for more money, which Congress and all heads of state and all top heads declined and rejected because you had to spend the money that you already gotten. And it seemed to me that the money they gotten, which was in the billions and billions and billions, they have not spent yet. So we always got to ask, where is the money going? Where is the money being flown in and out? We should always ask these questions. Now let's keep going. Hold on, guys. What's this? Oh. I don't know. All right. The coming Democrat message will likely focus on aspects of the bill could improve American lives. Okay. I read that already. I read that. Sorry. A lot is going to happen, Biden said recently, of what to expect once the bill is signed, trying to emphasize that much of the actions will be quick. This is a significant piece of legislation that will have both immediate impact and longer-term economic impact as well. Brian Deese, Biden's top economic advisor, told Yahoo Finance Live on Tuesday the goal of this bill is to do what fiscal policies can do at our current economic movements. Meanwhile, many experts note that a majority of the bill will be slow acting. Really, this is a 2023, 2024, 2025 game. Mark Goldwyn, a top economist at the Committee for the Responsible Federal Budget, recently told Yahoo Finance. Goldwyn, who supports the bill, added what this is supposed to do is to help stop inflation from persisting over the long term. This is what it's supposed to do, because we are in, I think, stagnation and hyperinflation, last time I checked, to what is being rumored buzz. But there could be more to the story. Because remember, they did not announce that you're in a recession. You have to discover that for yourself as a people, or any American, to know that you're in a, what they call, recession. Now, mostly they'll tell you, they'll keep real with you, but Honestly, they won't. And the reason why is to keep you, busy on small things that has no relevance in your life. Like always, you gotta be constantly paying bills. You always gotta worry about how to keep a roof over your head, or keeping your monthly leisure up to par, meaning that you want to be keeping up like the Joneses. So a lot of these things are not going to be talked about, unfortunately. And y'all should know this already. Let's keep going. Here are the ways that the bill could be felt by November midterm election, and what will take years. Tax credit for energy relates home improvement. As this weekend on CNN, what Americans should expect to feel right away. Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm points first to tax credit around energy and American homes. Now, I'll click onto these in a second, but let's keep going down to the article. Immediately, people will be able to lower the fuel costs in their home. Wait, what's this?
With a great deal on the Hyundai you've always wanted.
Stop that. Sorry about that, guys. She points to a new 30% tax credit for installing energy-efficient windows, heat pumps, or newer model of appliance. A second tax credit encourages people to install solar panels on their roofs. That's too late. Most Americans, now, if y'all not been paying attention, already got solar panels in most of their house. And I'm not sure what's the percentage of Americans have solar panels, but I guarantee it is, if I always say it'd be greater than 40%. And I say this because, and be honest with you, even if you have solar panels, the cost of how you pay energy with solar is not going to be any significant lesser than we're paying now with regular energy bills. They just want you to switch over because it's now easy to monitor how much energy you're burning really consistently. Personally, in my opinion. But, like I said, that's my perspective. There are some things that takes effect into the future. Some that takes effect right now. Granholm acknowledged, but she added, a lot of energy provisions and the energy efficiencies provisions are applicable right now. And here's a little chart of what is in the Inflation Reduction Act. Some initial estimates for how the money is being raised and spent in the deal enacting by Democrats. This is for Democrats now. Repeal to drug rebate rule, saving from allowing Medicare to negotiate drug prices. Increased tax collected from the IRS protection. New clean electric tax credit. Clean fuel and EV tax credit. Money for conserving and clean agriculture. Other energies and climate provision. New clean manufacturer tax credit. What else? A 15% corporate minimum tax with exceptions for manufacturing. A 1% excessive tax on stocks and buybacks. Healthcare extension of Obamacare health insurance subsidies. This is too small to read right here. Outlay for increase of IRS enforcement. I'm not sure what that one is. Others, deficit reduction. Now, I gotta check what's the deficit now in America to really see if this is really beneficial of reducing the deficit. Okay, what was I? The bill will include $14,000 rebates consumer can use when buying heat pumps or other energy-efficient home appliance. The new applicants would also help families then save on energy bill, which that was the purpose of the bill, to reduce and save energy. The White House says that 30% of tax credit to install solar panels on roofs will make the pricey undergoing more affordable and help save Americans $9,000 on energy bill over the life of the system. Overall, climate efforts form the centerpiece of the bill, and the Earth won't feel many of those benefits for some years. Still, the combination of provision in the IRA could reduce greenhouse gas emissions by about 1 gigatons in 2030, in the next 8 years from now. That 10 times more climate impacts than any other single piece of legislation ever enacted, the White House said. Expanding EV tax credit. Another climate aspect of the IRA and expanding tax credit for electronic vehicles. The credits are worth up to $7,500 for new electric vehicles and $4,000 for used electronic vehicles that will be available immediately. Now, let me stop right here about electric cars. Now, y'all know that they're trying to increase people buying electric cars by the next couple of years. There's bills now, last time I checked, that's put out here. And that's what they're trying to push now in this decade now, to have you switch over to gasoline powered vehicles to electric vehicles. And my reason why, in my thinking why they're doing this, is for more greater control. Because if you think about it, majority of vehicles since 1980 or 81 have some form of electronics in it. And it can be controlled already as we see it, depending on the age of the vehicle. But majority cars, if they're not made by the end of the 70s, your vehicles run on electronics, which run on some form of computer and analyze the vehicle. Did y'all know that? So for you not crossing over and converting your regular gasoline vehicle to electric vehicle, you are far behind. Now, is it beneficial for people to now say to ditch your high useful gasoline powered guzzling vehicles to electric vehicles? I would say no. It's because, let's be honest, unless these vehicles get more expensive, not only maintenance, but also when gas keeps getting more and more expensive, that's the only time you're going to see people might start downsizing their regular gasoline-powered vehicles and getting what we call an electric vehicle, which is said to be more cheaper to just plug in your household, but you don't know how much energy it costs just to charge your vehicle up. That's the downside of owning an electric vehicle. And trust me, they got like electric vehicles now that have the same horsepower and same efficiency like a gas vehicle. If you're not aware of that, people. Let's keep going. If you install an electric vehicle charger station in your home, you can also get a tax credit. Grand Home says the change is expected to be good news for many EV makers, but details of immediate rule change could lead to some turbulence for EV buyers. While in some way the IRA expands the availability of the tax credit, it also has some restriction requirements, including the mandate that battery components come from the U.S. that has led some in the industry to worry that many vehicles that currently get the credit will now be left out, which rightfully so. Next, healthcare changes. Some healthcare provisions of the bill will also get into effect soon. For Medicare Part D beneficiaries, the bill will limit insulin payments to $35 a month starting in 2023. It will then cap all out-of-pocket drug costs to about $4,000 annually in 2024 and lower the cap further to $2,000 in 2025. Now, as y'all know, and here in the Zero Ends channel, we don't promote taking unnecessary drugs to keep you at stable health. We promote ways of correcting and reversing the illness naturally. Because if you're taking insulin shots, no matter what age or how long you've been suffering, you are already causing a deficit in your own body, and you're going to eventually damage your own organs in time. And I'm saying this personally, and not no disrespect, because there's too much countless videos out here, too much evidence that people are out here are finding ways to reverse their type 1 and type 2 diabetes. If you're a person, you got to depend on insulin, that tells me you are not seeking ways of correcting. You're dealing with codes that are going to keep run your pockets to keep you alive. And I gotta be real with y'all. If I say that, this is something that this can't be fixed, I would say, okay, but there's too many evidence out here, people that have reversed it naturally and done so. Hell, some people in certain space, in certain man space, they have instantly reversed their diabetes with proper real diet and lifestyle change. That's it. But I'm not going further than that. You do the math and do the research and the studies to figure out how to reverse that. It will directly benefit about 1.4 million beneficiaries each year, according to the White House. Biden calls out these provisions recently as just one specific example of the bill quickly impact. The IRA also averts a majority change that would have come and had no action been taken. The 2010 Affordable Care Act had included provision to help certain Americans with a subsidy for their health insurance costs that were scheduled to end this fall. Now they'll be extending for 3 years at a cost of about $64 billion. There are 13 million Americans who starting this fall will benefit from low health care premiums as a result of this bill. These added on Tuesday, insurers will be sent out letters in October of this year, and because of this legislation, people will see lower premiums in those letters. Still, a majority provision allowing Medicare to negotiate for prescription drug prices won't happen until 2026. That's 4 years from now. My math is right. Oil and drill provisions. The final change to oil drill regulations, backed by traditional energy producers, will also go into effect right away. Through Biden and his addies might not tout these energy-friendly provisions to their Democrat base. These provisions may spur greater oil production, open new areas to drill, and incentivize carbon capture technology. Ooh. See the picture right here? See that? Let me check. All right. Let's keep going. For his part, Goldwyn notes these changes as the one area that may impact inflation in calendar years 2020. Senator Joe Manchin, DWV, a key moderator votes who helped craft the deal, repeatedly touted the energy provision as fast-acting during a round of television appearances at the end of July. We have accelerated permitting, which is what they want, and we have increased production of energies, which is what they want. Manchin said on CNN, speaking of Republicans who opposed the bill in masses. In total, the bill is not expected to have a sizable impact on inflation. The Penn-Wharton budget model recently predicted that the efforts would slightly increase inflation until 2024 and then decrease it afterwards. Other studies have found modest deflation as a result of the bill. It is not clear whether the IRA will help Democrats during the midterm election in November, though the president is projecting optimism. Biden recently said he expected to help Democrat politicians fortune because even in part that are not going to kick in for a little bit will still be really game changing for ordinary folks. And the correction and early vision of the story said that the bill would implement that $2,000 price cap for out-of-pocket drug costs and Medicaid the beneficiaries of 2023. The full cap will actually be phased in all full implements in 2025. Ben Workosko is a Washington correspondent of Yahoo Finance. So let's go all the way up and click on some nice links here. I'm trying to find something here. And there's more articles into deep about this. And it's more of the numbers. Over $300 billion for the deficit. Trade cap advocate package will reduce deficit by over $3 billion over the coming decades through the series of pay-fors. Okay, so it's $300 billion. They're going to be reducing it. Let's go back. Meaningful reducing the inflation. And there's more. And there's a 725-page bill. Let's see what that is. Make sure you guys like the stream. I don't think it clicked. Let me see if I click it again. Wait, before I click on it, let me see this question here. So, will it reduce inflation? The Penn-Wharton budget model delivers a blow to the efforts by predicting it would slightly increase inflation until 2024 and then decrease it afterwards. In total, the group says it has little confidence it will impact inflation at all in either direction. It said, again, let's read that sentence again. The Penn-Wharton budget model delivers a blow to the efforts by predicting it would slightly increase inflation until 2024 and then decrease it afterwards. So you're not going to see a decrease until after this coming election of the presidency. Imagine that. In total, the group says it has little confidence it will impact inflation at all in either direction. And it goes further. Committee in response federal budget pushes back directly against Penn-Wharton while acknowledging that the Inflation Reduction Act would drastically cut inflation. That's what it's supposed to do. This bill is not going to get us from 9% inflation down to 2% to 3%. The target range for the feds. Mark Goldwyn, a senior director at the committee, told Yahoo Finance, who support the bill, argues that it aims to make the Federal Reserve job just a little bit easier so that they can fight inflation with fiscal policies moving in the same direction. Really? I don't know, people, man. It's very questionable. It's very questionable. In my opinion, I don't think it's going to do much at all. Yeah, this bill's not going to do much at all. Now I think about it. All right. But the nuisance argues has spurred some of the bill's opponents to cite economists who actually support the bill, including Zande of Moody. He was also featured in the recent Republican Masses. The press release taunted that even the President Biden's favorite economic forecast has said the bill isn't a game changer, but in any respect during a CNN interview. So all this, you're still not certain if this is going to really make a dent in regards to the deficit that we face in America, much as cut down real inflation that leads to stagnation. And mind you, this is another old article I'm reading right now. I'm clicking the links to go back what happened a few weeks ago that led to this passing and eventually signing of this bill. In Wednesday interview, Sade reiterates his support for the deal and said it's worth the cost. Asked Wednesday about being caught up in the parish back and forth, he said, well, to be frank, I haven't paid any attention to the whatsoever, and said it has been a copy studies of the bill itself. Will it raise the tax on the middle class? Which is also a good question. Now, mind this came out August 3rd. And we always get asked the taxes, because the taxes are going to start roughly going back up. We could say it could be the fault of Democrats. Hell, we could say it could be the fault of the Republicans. It doesn't matter because they're going to raise your taxes anyway. Anytime they do something and they twinkle the economy and start doing unnecessary borrowing, your taxes are going to be affected one way or the other. Keep that in mind, people. The bill directly raised funds in 3 areas. New minimum tax on some corporations, new money to help the IRS chase down tax cheats, and leasing the carried interest loophole favored by money managers. However, the analysts from the Joint Committee of Taxation, JCT, request by Republicans has fueled a debate over whether the bill will actually increase costs on the middle class. Republicans have trumped the report, concluding that the Schumer-McCain bill would indirectly lead up to a $16.7 billion worth of tax increase on American taxpayers' earnings less than $200K. Let's read that again. Republicans have trumped the reports, concluding that the Schumer-McCain bill would indirectly lead to up to $16.7 billion worth of tax increase on American taxpayers earning less than $200K. So if you're a regular American citizen that the average earning is 40 to 50 to maybe roughly in the mid 5 figures, you're going to feel this with your taxes. Now, mind you, no one's really covered this. They covered the bill, the act of the bill being signed, but we're not reading old other articles that talk about that's leading towards this bill. And I don't hear nobody that said that the Republicans said it's because this that they're raising your tax. No, stop that shit. Anyway, let's keep going. In a speech, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, RKY, cites that groups saying the bill would shatter President Biden's promise not to impact households' earnings below $400,000. Well, they lied like most politicians. Unfortunately. You just said no until you get screwed. In a contentious Fox News interview Tuesday, Senator McCain called the calm a pure outright lie. Other backers of the bill said the results are misleading. They point out that it doesn't directly impose new taxes on the middle class, while those backers acknowledge some corporations may indeed pass along the cost of their increased tax bill. They said its overall impact on the middle earning as positive. Something to think about. And of course, proponents of the bill have a study to back. The studies from Rewrite America found the bill could save the average household $1,800 per year on energy bills. And Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen weighs in on Tuesday a letter of a lawmaker. The bill would either reduce or have no effects on the tax due or paid by any family with income less than $400K, he said. She added that the clean energy tax credit And the expanded premium tax credit will cut taxes for millions of Americans, so they say. How will it impact corporate America? And should we read? Let me see this. Should I really look into corporate America? I'm not really concerned right now with the corporation because corporation got too many tax breaks. You can find this article yourselves. I will probably put the link to the main article, and y'all guys will probably read it for yourselves. And I was going to look at some other links, but personally, I think Yahoo Finance is good enough. Yeah, this is just enough. Yeah. How much will it really reduce the deficit? Not sure. Don't care. It doesn't really say much. Anyway, that's pretty much it. There you have it, guys. There's not really much right now on this. Sad to say, I don't know, man. It's something that's gonna be up the waters. So, like I said, y'all do your own research. This is boring. So that'll be pretty much it. If anything else y'all want to know, I'll probably put some links on this and make y'all be the judge of it. All right. So that's pretty much it. Be on the lookout for more uploads. I'm out here, but till next time, take care.